Good morning, student. Uh, this video is about the nuclear sector of our country, nuclear energy. Okay. And the fast breeder reactor. Okay. Which comes in the second stage of our three-stage nuclear program. The prototype. Okay. That has been achieved criticality, first stage of criticality. Which is a major milestone for our country with respect to nuclear energy. In that context, we are trying and understanding this document. Okay, very, very important from the point of view of examination, because a lot of what should I say, discussion is there around the nuclear energy, whether to go forward with it or whether we have to abandon the nuclear program, because many issues are there, safety concerns, etc. And now the renewable energy sources like solar and wind, they are becoming more and more cheaper. So in that context, it becomes very, very important, okay, whether we have to go forward with the nuclear energy or we have to abandon. In that context also, we have to understand this document. Of course, the document says that, yes, we have to go ahead with the nuclear energy. That is what the document is saying. And in that context, we have to understand this document. Very, very important. Okay. So the title is A New Chapter in India's Nuclear Journey. The indigenously built 500 megawatt energy fast breeder reactor attains the first criticality. Okay. So this is the point to discuss here, or this is the development, latest development with respect to nuclear energy of our country. Okay. So fast breeder reactor is the speciality of the fast breeder reactor is it produces much more fuel than it consumed in the process of generating energy. That's why the name fast breeder, it very fastly breeds the fuel that we use in the third stage of nuclear energy. Okay. So we have three stages. The fast breeder reactors come at the second stage, and in the third stage, you know very well, we have abundant resources of thorium, but directly thorium cannot be used in the nuclear reactors. It has to be modified before it can be used. So in the second stage, we are modifying the thorium, and in third stage, we are using the modified thorium as the fuel. Okay, we will see all those steps. Need not worry. That's why the fast breeder reactors are very, very important. Okay, so some introduction is there. We will go through the introduction first. Okay, so India has marked the major milestone in nuclear energy program. What is the milestone? The milestone is the indigenously designed and built prototype fast breeder reactor. Means it is a kind of launch pad for our fast breeder nuclear energy program. Where it is? It is at Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. It successfully attained its first stage of criticality or first criticality on 6th April 2026. You see, what is the meaning of criticality? The reactor operating at its full capacity, that is called as criticality. Okay. This development, this initiative or this marks this PFBR is a 500 megawatt reactor built by Bharatiya Navikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited, BHAVINI at Kalpakkam nuclear complex. Okay. In the image, you can see the nuclear complex also, right? With this achievement, what is going to happen? India has officially entered the second stage of its three-stage nuclear power program, like I told. This vision is conceived by the great Homi J. Bhabha. Okay, who was the architect of India's three-stage nuclear program. It has a substantial. The development has a substantial global significance also. Once fully operational, India will become only the second country in the world after Russia to operate a commercial fast breeder reactor. Okay, right. Further, if you see, this achievement is a testament to the decades of scientific effort led by Department of Atomic Energy, and it marks a significant step in India's energy journey, reinforcing country's commitment to reliable, low carbon power. Remember these lines, very, very important. Okay. Then further, this development brings India closer to the goal of achieving a net zero emission by 2070. Okay, so this is the development. We will understand the word, what is the meaning of a criticality. You see, criticality is the point at which a sustained and controlled nuclear fission chain. The technology now we use in nuclear reactors is nuclear fission. Okay, so a sustained and controlled nuclear fission chain reaction begins. Okay, that is criticality. At this stage, what happens? Neutrons produced by fission equal those lost through the absorption and leakage, resulting in a stable power output. Okay, it marks the transition from the uh, construction phase, okay, to the operational phase, and is the essential first step towards generating heat and ultimately electricity. Okay, that is what is criticality. Okay, right. Right. Further, if you see overview of India's three-stage nuclear program, this you have to remember, okay, because repeatedly questions are being asked from the asked about the three-stage nuclear program of our country. You see, India holds limited uranium reserves. We know it very well, but we are one of the largest thorium. We have one of the largest thorium reserves in the world. Okay, that is our strength. To make the most of these thorium resources, the DAE, Department of Atomic Energy, designed a three-stage nuclear power program built on a closed nuclear fuel cycle. Closed nuclear fuel cycle means there is the waste is going to be very limited. Okay, fuel use continuously being used. Okay, the goal is to progressively multiply domestic fissile resources and secure long-term energy independence. This is the goal. So stage one by one, we will see the three stages, and you have to definitely remember these three stages. Okay, stage one is PHWRs, pressurized heavy water reactors. They are the key for the first stage. You see, natural uranium is used as fuel in these PHWRs to generate the power. Okay. Further, the spent fuel from these reactors produces plutonium, which becomes the primary input for the next stage. So the fuel that has, or the waste that has come from the first stage will become fuel for the second stage. That's why we call it a closed cycle. Okay. Second stage are the very, very important reactors, the fast breeder reactors. Okay. So the plutonium that was obtained from the stage one is used as a fuel in the fast breeder reactors, which generate more fuel than they consume. This is the specialty of the fast breeder reactors. They generate more fuel than they consume. Okay. You see the PFBR at Kalpakkam that marks India's entry into this stage. Okay, these reactors will used to breed uranium-233 from thorium. You see, along with this plutonium, in second stage, what we will do? We will insert thorium also. Okay, we fabricate plutonium and thorium, and we use it as fuel in the fast breeder reactor. Okay, then the thorium in this process, the thorium is converted into uranium-233. That is the key point here. Okay, so the reactors will be used to breed uranium-233 from thorium, laying the groundwork for stage 3. That is the significance of the second stage. Okay. Right. Next, we'll see the third stage. Third stage is thorium-based reactors. Okay. This stage harnesses, okay, or harness India's vast thorium reserves at scale, means at large scale, using the uranium-233 bred in stage 2 as a fuel. So this uranium-233, which we have gotten in the stage 2, that will be used as fuel in stage 3 reactors. Okay. Right. So thorium is considered a practically vast energy source, and this stage holds key to India's long-term energy security. In this way, we are trying and achieving energy security. Okay. So if you see, each stage feeds into the next. making India's nuclear program one of the most forward-looking energy strategies in the world. Why? Because you will not see wastage even at the first stage and even at the second stage also. And it's called as a closed fuel cycle. That is the greatness of India's nuclear energy program. You know very well what is the problem with the nuclear energy. Okay, the problem, one of the major problems with the nuclear energy is the waste disposal. Okay, the nuclear waste that comes after utilizing the fuel. It's much more radioactive than the natural uranium or processed uranium that we use as fuel in nuclear reactors. So waste disposal is very significant problem in the world, and India is trying and addressing that problem by reducing the waste as much as possible, nuclear waste as much as possible. Okay. Now, some details we will understand about the fast breeder reactor. Okay, prototype of fast breeder reactor. Okay, so this PFBR represents decades of indigenous research, our own research, design and engineering. Its technology was developed by Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, IGCAR, which is an R&D center under the Department of Atomic Energy. Okay. Fuel and design, if you see for fast breeder reactor, unlike the conventional reactors, the PFBR uses uranium plutonium mixed oxide. It is called as MOX. Okay, uranium plutonium mixed oxide as fuel, and the fissile material used is recovered from the reprocessing of spent fuel from first stage reactors. Those are pressurized heavy water reactors. Okay, closing the loop on stage 1. This closes the loop on stage 1. Okay. Then second important characteristic feature is they breed more than it burns. So the core of the fast breeder reactor is surrounded by a blanket of uranium 238. Okay, the core of the PFBR is surrounded by a blanket of uranium 238. Fast neutrons convert this fertile material into fissile plutonium 239, enabling the reactor to produce more fuel than it consumes. Okay, and it is a bridge to the stage 3. How the reactor designed to eventually use thorium 232 in the blanket. Okay, through transmutation, thorium 232 will be converted into uranium 233. This is what will happen in the blanket material. Okay, thorium will be converted into thorium 232 is converted into uranium 233. Okay, this is the fuel that will power India's third stage of nuclear energy based on thorium. Okay, this is the strategy. Right. Further, if you see, it has a closed fuel cycle. You see the spent fuel generated by the fast breeder reactor. It will be reprocessed and recycled back into the reactor. This closes the second stage of fuel and paves the way for large scale use of India's abundant thorium reserves in stage 3. Okay, so the waste that has come from the fast breeder reactor will once again be processed and I'm sorry, recycled and inserted or used as a fuel in the fast breeder reactor. Okay. Then if you see the current status of nuclear power or nuclear energy in our country, India's nuclear energy program has maintained a steady presence in the country's energy mix. Roughly, it comes to 2% of the total generated capacity. Okay. Installed capacity wise, if you see, it comes, nuclear energy comes 1%, but generation wise, if you see, 2% of the energy in our country is being generated through the nuclear reactors. Okay. It now stands at a pivotal moment, means at important moment with a significant expansion planned over the coming years. Okay. So if you see the installed capacity, India's current nuclear capacity is 8.78 gigawatt. Okay. Total energy capacity is somewhere around 420 gigawatt. Okay. So nuclear energy capacity was 8.78 gigawatt. In 24-25, nuclear power plants generated 56,681 million units of electricity across the country. And they are providing stable contribution and contributing to the stability of the grid also. Nuclear power has consistently accounted for around 3% of India's total electricity generation. I said it's 2%, but the document is saying 3%. Okay, other sources I have read there, it's saying 2% of electricity generation is coming from nuclear energy generation. It's okay. In 2024-25, its share stood at 3.1%. Okay, it's good because its contribution or its share is increasing. Then, if you see the planned expansion, the capacity is set to grow nearly 3 times in the coming years, with the indigenous 700 megawatt reactors and 1,000 megawatt reactors being developed through international cooperation. And because of this, the installed capacity is projected to reach 22.38 gigawatt by 2031-32. In many places of our country, new nuclear reactors are being planned. Okay, right. International cooperation, now it is becoming a reality. More and more countries are coming forward and showing their willingness to participate in our nuclear energy program. That has been further encouraged by the Shanti Bill or Shanti Act that we have passed couple of months back. Okay, so India has signed intergovernmental agreements, IGAs, on civil nuclear cooperation for peaceful purposes with the 18 countries. All these countries have uranium reserves, okay, reflecting the growing global confidence in India's nuclear program. Okay, so taken together, these numbers tell a clear story. What is the story? Nuclear energy is no longer just a supplementary source of power in India. It is going to be the significant, one of the important sources of energy for. Okay, so it is fast becoming cornerstone of India's clean energy future. Okay. The long-term mission, if you have to understand, you see India is set its sights on a significantly larger role for nuclear energy in its overall power mix. Okay, so we are not going back. We are not going back on nuclear energy. Okay, we are going forward. The government of India has announced the nuclear energy mission outlined in the union budget of 25-26. Okay, so last previous year budget, there was nuclear energy mission with the aim of achieving 100 gigawatt of nuclear power generation capacity by 2047. You see, it's a very, very big target. This mission also supports India's broader goal of achieving net zero emission target by 2070. Okay, so if you have to understand why India must scale its nuclear power, the answer is here. What is the answer? India's energy demands are growing rapidly because of various reasons, and its clean energy commitments are firm. We are not compromising on our clean energy for guarantees also. So in that context, nuclear energy is a base load source of electricity available round the clock, with the lifetime emissions comparable to renewables such as hydro and wind. So it gives stability to the grid, and the waste, if you see, emissions are almost comparable to the nuclear energy like hydro and wind. Okay. It is uniquely placed to meet the always on power needs of data centers, advanced industries, and emerging technologies. You see, if you see the renewable energy like solar and wind, they are not always available. Okay, in daytime you can produce a solar, and clear sky you need. Okay, so India roughly has 300 days of clear skies. When the sky is cloudy, etc., it's difficult to produce solar energy. Same in the same way, wind energy also has some limitations. Okay, so round the clock energy is not possible with the solar and the wind at the present juncture, because we do not have storage capacity. In that context, the nuclear energy becomes the favored source for providing energy to critical things like data centers, advanced industries like semiconductor industries, and emerging technologies. So we can supply nuclear generated energy to these sources. Okay, right. Scaling nuclear capacity is therefore not just a strategic choice, but a practical necessary for India's long-term energy security and clean power transition. Okay, that's why we have to go forward with nuclear energy. Okay. Further, if you see, some measures have been taken or have been put in by the government to drive this vision forward. Okay, so measures we will see. Financial commitment is there. First of all, the nuclear energy mission allocated rupees 20,000 crore towards the design, development, and the deployment of small modular reactors. Very, very, very important. Okay, so you need not, you no longer build. Of course, we are building big nuclear reactors, but along with that, small modular reactors maybe that can be installed in a small facility or even in house, even in homes. Okay, you imagine if we can install a nuclear reactor at our home, very small reactor. Okay, it's going to be revolutionary. Okay, so these small modular reactors, they signaling a serious long-term investment in indigenous nuclear technology. Okay, then if you see the SMR target, at least 5 indigenously designed SMRs, small modular reactors, are to be operational by 2033, strengthening India's clean and renewable energy roadmap. Then BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, it has also taken some initiatives. If you see them, BARC is leading the development of next generation reactor designs, including the 200 megawatt Bharat small modular reactors, BSMR 200, and 55 megawatt small modular reactor that is called as SMR 55, and a high temperature gas cooled reactor up to 5 megawatt. Okay, megawatt thermal designed for hydrogen generation. Okay, so this 5 megawatt thermal reactor is for hydrogen generation, clean hydrogen generation. Okay, these are the initiatives taken up by BARC. Remember, very, very important from the prelims point of view. These are the questions that will be asked in the prelims examination. And ultimately, the important step we have taken is Shanti Act we have enacted in 2025. You see, to support the mission, Government of India enacted the Shanti Act, that is Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India. The Act consolidates and modernizes India's nuclear legal framework. It enables a limited private participation in the nuclear sector under regulatory oversight, government regulatory oversight, opening new avenues for collaboration and investment. So we have allowed the private sector to participate in the nuclear energy, and foreign players, foreign countries, they are also now coming forward to participate in the India's nuclear energy program. Okay. So this long-term nuclear vision is ambitious by design, with the policy backing, dedicated funding, and indigenous research at its core. The country is building a nuclear future that is both self-reliant and globally significant. Okay, so this is what you have to know about the nuclear program of our country. Very, very important and valuable information is there. You try to remember it. It's important from both exams, prelims examination and mains examination. Okay, right. So this is it for today. See you next time. Until then, you have a very good time.